Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a question that I just want to throw out there to you guys, and that is this. Just who is really in charge over at the White House? Now, we all know that Joe Biden is the president of the United States of America. However, millions and millions of people are starting to question his cognitive abilities. I mean, every single time that guy gets in front of a camera, either you can't understand what he's saying or he says something really strange and weird. He forgets who he appointed to certain departments, forgets people's names, and he can't even put full sentences together. And he even has to ask permission to ask questions. Not to mention the fact that he has yet to do a press conference since he has become the president of the United States, which is unheard of. And even Democrats themselves are trying to take away power from him. I mean, I've never seen such a thing. So who is really in charge there at the White House? Is it Kamala Harris, who is taking all the important phone calls for him? Is it Obama working under the radar? Is it the intelligence community? Is it the Clinton crime family or whatever? I don't know. But what I do know is there something going on up there? I'm not a doctor. I don't make diagnosis. I'm just going to show you guys what I see, and then, you can make your own assessment on all of that. But before I do, just a quick reminder, please get on over to noblegoldinvestments.com and get yourself a 401k, or even better, a Roth IRA, or an IRA backed by gold, by silver, by precious metals. And right now, with any approved 401k or IRA, you get this Carson City uncirculated silver dollar. This thing is absolutely amazing, and I love it. I love all the coins that they give away there. But check it out at noblegoldinvestments.com. Give them a call and let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven. All right, so let's dive into some of the strangeness happening with Joe Biden. And I'm going to play an awful lot of clips for you. Here's the first one here where he's basically, you can't understand what he's saying. Take a listen.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
I'll leave an ineffectual strategy to mobilize children under pressure. You can't understand him. What was he supposed to say? Well, according to the transcript, he should have said, I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international pressure, isolate and punish China. So either he didn't want to speak against China, or he just really stumbled on his words. But maybe it's a one-off, as most of you guys know that's not the case. Take a listen to what he said here, and I really want you to hone in on what he's saying, because under his breath, he's here signing an executive order, but under his breath, he says, I don't know what I'm signing. Take a listen. And you can really hear it there. And I'm going to leave that clip in the description box. But he goes, I don't know what I'm signing here. And he's signing. Like literally, that's what it sounds like, right? There's that clip. Then let's move on a little bit. Here's him saying, we choose truth over facts. Take a listen.
Unity over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts. And so, folks, if you're interested, join me. I could use the help. Because must defeat this president.
Truth over facts. And the crowd collapsed. What? Really? And then there's this. Take a listen to what he says here. He can't really put together his words very well. And he says something rather strange. Take a listen.
It stunned the nation, and I would argue, I know, shocked the world. International leaders spoke about it. You had people like you had people like the former chairman and leader of the party in Germany. You had Angela Merkel. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids.
Poor kids are just as bright and talented as white kids and Asian kids and fill in the blank. What? So in other words, white people and Asian people can't be poor? Go to hell. I was poor and I was white. Really? Some of the stupid things that come out of that guy's mouth. And here's him. He can't even remember his transportation of secretary's name. This happens a lot. He forgets a lot of the names. Take a listen.
To command to be Secretary of Defense. We brought in a guy from Illinois who ended up being a great Secretary of Transportation. I mean, Secretary of Transportation.
That's not the only name you forgot. Take a listen here.
Shirley Jackson Lee, Al Green, Sylvia Garcia, Lizzie Pinelli, Pinell, and what am I doing here? I'm going to lose track here. And Mayor Turner, Judge Hidalgo, thank you all for welcoming us. And Jill and I wanted to visit Texas today for a couple of reasons.
What am I doing here? I'm going to lose track here. I can't say all these names. Here's a very recent one where he forgets the name of the Pentagon as well as the name of his Secretary of Defense. Take a listen to this new blunder.
Just want to thank you both, and I want to thank the former general. I keep calling him general, but the guy who runs that outfit over there.
He runs that.
I want to make sure we thank the secretary for all he's done to try to implement what we just talked about, and for recommending these two women for promotion. Thank you all. May God bless you all.
To recommend what we just talked about. I mean, and that guy that, runs that department over there. Huh. But that's not the only blunder. Remember this little number when he was running for presidency? He calls Kamala Harris President-elect Harris. Take a listen to this one.
I took it to instill public confidence in the vaccine. President-elect Harris took hers today for the same reason.
President-elect Harris. Maybe he's hinting that she's the one in charge. I don't know. She's taking some awful lot of calls and stuff for him. Here, I'll show you. Here's some of the things that are happening with her. Kamala Harris. Veep Kamala Harris takes foreign calls on behalf of Biden. This is on the New York Post. That's not the only thing. We also have Gateway Pundit. Kamala Harris takes calls with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on behalf of Joe Biden. Gee, I wonder why. Then we have the Washington Post here, the Daily 202. Kamala Harris is playing an unusually large role in shaping of Biden's foreign policy and the Hill. Kamala Harris is constantly on camera presence for Biden. I don't know. Maybe he was letting on a little more. I don't know. Sure, it's just a blunder. Right? But that's not all. Take a listen to here, because here he actually, and I'm going to read the headline on this, is Biden says that minorities don't know, and this is GOP USA, but they don't know how to get online. I mean, if I was a minority, that'd really tick me off. That would really tick me off because it's an insult. Take a listen to what he says here.
The other portion is a lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community, in the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccination at the Walgreens or at the particular store.
So minorities don't know how to get in line for vaccination, and they don't know how to get in line generally, but, we need to help them. So we need to spend $1 billion because for ages, we've never had a vaccine before. Yeah, we have. We've had the flu vaccine for quite a long time, and I'm pretty sure people have figured out now how to line up for a flu vaccine. But hey, you're going to call out minorities and say that they're not cognitively capable of figuring out how to get in line for a vaccine. I mean, that's messed up. And go to hell. That, in my opinion, that's a fairly racist comment, right? You don't say stuff like that, but that's not all. Here in this clip, Joe Biden is actually talking about Uyghur Muslims, which we all know are being round up and re-educated by China and what's going on there in China. And look, if you want more information on what's going on with the Uyghur Muslims and all of that, get on over to restrictedrepublic.com. This is the website I started with Justice Knight and myself. I have so much information on what's going on in China there. I only have so much time that I can get you here on YouTube, but if you want what's truly going on right now, we are offering it at a $50 year rate. $50 for the first year. It's the cheapest we have ever done. Use the code LOCKDOWN. But I've got tons of information. We post a new video 5 days a week, in addition to all the YouTube content without the commercials. And you can see some of the pieces here that we already talked about. But anyhow, that's kind of a side note. In this video, Joe Biden talks about Uyghur Muslims and China. And here's his response, which is kind of crazy, about whether or not he supports China's roundup of these Muslims. Take a listen.
Chinese leaders, if you know anything about Chinese history, it has always been the time when China has been victimized by the outer world is when they haven't been unified at home. So the central, vastly overstated, the central principle of Xi Jinping is that there must be a united, tightly controlled China. And he uses his rationale for the things he does based on that. I point out to him, no American president can be sustained as a president if he doesn't reflect the values of the United States. And so the idea, I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong, what he's doing with the Uyghurs in western mountains of China, and Taiwan trying to end the one China policy by making it forceful. I said, and by the way, he said he gets it. Culturally, there are different norms at each country, and their leaders are expected to follow.
So he's not going to speak against China and what they're doing to the Uyghur Muslims because of cultural differences? Really? Really, Joe Biden? And then there's this. And this is the one that I think should lead everybody to the actual question, who is in charge of the White House? Take a watch on this one.
And I'm happy to take questions if that's you. Thank you. And I'm happy to take questions if that's what I'm supposed to do, Nance, whatever you want me to do.
So I'm happy to take questions if that's what you want me to do, Nance. If that's what you want me to do, I'll take questions. So he's asking permission first from Nancy to ask questions when he's the president of the United States. Is Nancy in charge of him? I mean, why does he have to get her permission to ask questions? I'm just like, and then the White House cuts the feed. Who cut the feed? If the president wants to take questions, let the man take questions, right? But they cut the feed. Just who had the ability to cut off the president of the United States at the White House? Just a question. If he's really in charge of the White House, why is he asking Nancy for permission? Why is Kamala Harris doing his job for him? And why and who cut the feed at the White House, not allowing a guy who clearly wanted to take questions? Why did they stop his ability to take questions? And why, this is a good one, this is SeanHannity.com, almost 7 weeks later, has Joe Biden, right, not done a formal press briefing? Right? Why hasn't he done a formal press briefing? Why is the question? Well, Kayleigh McEnany has a really interesting theory as to why Biden isn't, well, going public to the American people and why he is avoiding the press. Take a listen to what she says here.
The pressure's mounting when you have even left-wing outlets calling him out for this. But I'd say it's extraordinary that he hasn't taken questions. Certainly a 100-year record for not taking questions in a solo press conference from a sitting president. But this is not unprecedented because, as you'll recall, Stuart, the basement strategy is what he employed on the campaign trail. He went something like 50 days and he only took questions twice. And when he did, they were hand-picked questions. So I think his staff does not have faith that he can stand at the podium and have a press conference the way President Trump did many times.
So his staff doesn't have faith in him. Well, I can't say I necessarily disagree with her assessment on that. If the staff doesn't have faith that he can answer the question appropriately, they're not going to give him the time of day. He answers only questions that somebody says that he's allowed to answer. So they have to pre-screen every question and everything that's being fed in that guy's direction. I think we seriously need to be asking about the 25th Amendment here. And under President Trump, we had the left calling for the 25th Amendment, but never was Trump not cognitive. Nowhere near what we're seeing. They didn't try to keep Trump from speaking publicly, and he took questions all the time, came out in front of the public all the time. But here, Joe Biden's being told, seems that way, what questions he can and can't take, or vice versa. The questions are being, let me rephrase that, the questions that are being taken by Joe Biden are selected. It's almost as if they don't want us to know something about Joe Biden, right? And then we have House Democrats. I spoke about this already, but this is on NewYorkPost.com. House Democrats asked Biden to give up sole power to launch nuclear bombs. Of course, the Democrats did it in the name of, well, just in case another Trump gets in, we don't want to give you these powers or have the powers passed to somebody else. So we want to stop it while a Democrat's in power. Wait, what? That's the excuse they gave, right? But either way, they want to take the power away from Joe Biden. Oh, and give it to Nancy Pelosi and the vice president. Like, they all have a big shenanigan. Because Nancy, if it's okay with you, I can take questions. Nancy, do you want me to take questions? Is Nancy in charge of the White House? I don't know. YahooNews.com, bipartisan senators, and this is real recent, introduce a bill to strip him of his war powers. This is bipartisan on both sides of the fence. And maybe this is why a lot of people are asking the question on this Chicago Tribune article. Talk of the county, reader opinion. It's obvious that Joe Biden is brain dead. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I can look and tell you guys what's going on. And I know many people have been out there throwing names. Obama is still in charge. Nancy's in charge. Clinton's in charge. Kamala Harris in charge. The deep state's in charge. I don't know. All I know is it seems as if this guy's taking some kind of orders from someone, or maybe he is calling shots. I don't know, but it's kind of crazy. And again, I think we need to really look into the 25th Amendment for Joe Biden, right? Because we really need somebody in there who his own staff can honestly put in front of a camera and say, okay, we have confidence in this guy. Anyhow, obviously, aside from the fact that I don't love any of his policies or anything really that he's done nothing but encourage attacks on conservatives, political attacks, that is, and censorship of conservatives. And this we've seen above and beyond. And here's the other scary part. If they did 25th Amendment him, I really don't want Kamala Harris in charge of the country either. So do we really want to go 25th Amendment on this guy and then deal with Kamala Harris? I think we're already kind of dealing with Kamala Harris in one way, shape, or form. But anyhow, I love all of you. Please get on over to restrictedrepublic.com. I can't stress this enough. This is where I'm going to end up, but you can see some of the articles that we have on there. We do live stream. We're going to try to actually live stream there this Saturday. Justice Knight and myself, we're going to take questions and all kinds of good things, but that's only for Restricted Republic clientele. Again, right now, use the code LOCKDOWN. You can get it $50 for an entire year. And by the way, it's a 14-day free trial, so you can sign up and cancel whenever you want. That's how that works, but lots of information on there for you guys to check out. Anyhow, thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube channel. I love all of you, and from the bottom of my heart, I truly and honestly mean that. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.